Well, hi guys and gals, it's me George, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man, and we're back here working on the Goofy cart. And you saw me grinding and chiseling away, getting the old mount over there for the rear transfer gears from the inside to the outside. And what was originally there was all done with bushing, no bearings. You got to remember, when I started building this out in Minnesota, I was using mostly only parts and pieces that I had on hand, and most of the snow blowers that I scavenged parts off of, including these gears here and many of the ones inside, that one there, they used bushings rather than bearings because they did not go very fast, so they didn't have a need for bearings. Well, we saw what happened with that here, where there was so much pressure on it because of the torque from the chain on the inside coming through the frame and pulling on this side and then pulling on the outside, and both sides were pulling in the rearward direction. This one here was pulling it forward, but it was in effect twisting the shaft this way. So they were aiding and abetting each other. So now I have pillow blocks in here, and as a result of the pillow blocks and the extra spacing that's going to be needed, we're going to eliminate the two sprockets that were in here, and we're just going to go from the back here all the way up to here. I'll probably have an idler in there, and we'll probably get rid of this idler. Now the other thing is, we're also going to be replacing the rear sprocket and putting a bigger one in. And before I demonstrate that one, I wanted to show you my setup for freewheeling. And this is just sitting on here, and just got a couple of bolts to hold it in place. But essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my axle, and then I'm going to put these in place, one on either side of where I cut it, and this will be spaced apart a little bit more in the middle, and we'll have grade 8 bolts. These are all 5/8. So this axle on the right, which will be the drive side, will be able to function independently of the axle that will be on the left, which will have the brake function. And so that's what these will be set up for, and they will be set up in here. And I'm going to have to make a bracket that will go probably sandwiched between these two pieces and come down and be anchored to here, or go up and be anchored to this rod up here to keep these bearings from just spinning around on their own, you know what I mean. So that will take care of that problem. I told you all about the scuffing and all of that. So let me see if I could take this apart, and you can't do it one-handed. Okay, so now you can see the difference in the size of these sprockets. They're considerably different, and because of that difference in size, this one is going to interfere down here with this tie rod. So I'm going to have to put a jog in here somehow and drop it down. I've moved my camera down so you can see. I'm going to have to put a jog in here to clear this sprocket. And I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do that yet, but we will get it done. And yeah, so we're working at it. As you can see, we got the body off. We got everything all torn apart, and we're working at getting our drivetrain dialed in, don't you know. So that's my update for today. Hopefully next time I come back, we'll have the double idlers already mounted on the axle and tied in probably up here, and we will have this sprocket on here and have this modified down here and have this all set up here. Now these pillow blocks are too large to fit to just bolt straight through the frame because they're a little bit wider, just a little bit wider than the frame itself. So I'm thinking I'm going to put them in this configuration, and they're long enough but still not quite long enough to be able to run a bolt through on the bottom side. So I'm thinking what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to notch this and set the bolt down in there and perhaps weld it in place. And you can see I had to cut my body mount strap because it was interfering, so we'll have to take care of that issue too. Those are the kind of things you got to do when you're remanufacturing and re-engineering things. Thanks for watching, commenting, subscribing, and until next time, this is George, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man. Bye for now.